let's sing it again. Well, since I got y'all standing, why don't we just keep on standing and we'll join our voices in our call to worship. We celebrate that where people are gathered together in love, God is present and good things happen and life is full. We celebrate that we are immersed in mystery, that our lives are more than they seem. That we belong to each other and to a universe of great creative energies whose source and destiny is God. We celebrate that the Spirit of God beat in the heart of Jesus of Nazareth. And God's good news was heard by the broken and wounded. We're glad that the Spirit of peace is present with us, the church. As we gather to celebrate our common existence and the ever-present nature of God. And most deeply, we believe that in our struggle to love, we incarnate God in the world. And so aware, you can join me in any part of this, you know. And so aware of mystery and wonder, caught in friendship and laughter. We become speechless before the joy in our hearts as we celebrate the sacredness and oneness of life. Well, why don't we, since we're standing up, why don't we sing a beautiful hymn for a beautiful day? Morning has broken. Maybe we'll make this Standing Sunday. We'll just do a whole service this way. Please keep standing. No. Please be seated, everyone. Please be seated. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Faith United Church of Christ on this beautiful Sunday morning here in Dunedin, Florida, or a special welcome to our online community. As we always say, wherever you are here, especially on Sunday morning. So we're delighted to have you. A special welcome to any visitors we have with us today in person here. First-time return visitors, we are delighted to have you with us. And for our online community, anyone that's visiting with us online, we are also delighted to have you here. If you are in person, sign our friendship book, which we keep on the table in the gathering space. And if you're online, send an email to office@faithucc.org, and we'll get you on our list so we can keep you all apprised of the many, many happenings that we have going on here, and that list is just going to start exploding again because we're back, as I like to say, and we're going to get cranking on some good stuff. But delighted to be here with you on this beautiful Sunday morning. We're calling this Purple Sunday today. I know there's a bunch of you in purple. I own no purple. I own black and blue, as everybody knows. That's it. But I do have a purple stole, so it's my contribution to Purple Sunday. Reverend Nan Dahlberg is going to offer up a sermon for us today, and I don't know where this is going, but I'm extremely intrigued with the title. So I think you all will be as well when we get there. So that's a little suspense. But a couple of, and thank you, Nan, for agreeing to preach today and offering this up. It's an exciting day. Couple of announcements. Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly. We need more peanut butter and jelly. The PB&J Challenge is going on. We have 1 week left to stock Dunedin Cares food shelves with tons of peanut butter and jelly. As I said a few weeks ago, we have a reputation to uphold here, people. A reputation to uphold because we won that Thanksgiving challenge for the churches and came in third overall. So we got to really ramp it up. You started out great last week. I think the last 2 weeks we've had 356, and this past week was 311 pounds of food. So that's fantastic. A special thank you to our Dunedin Cares folks for lugging all that food out there. And I don't mean this wrong, but let's put them to work this week. Drop food on. There's a bin out here you can drop food by. If you're online with us, you can drop food if you're local. Heck, you could UPS it. If you don't see you're up in Maine, we're going to really do it. We're going to really go crazy here. You could ship food here this week or right to Dunedin Cares and just say it's for Faith UCC. So everyone can get active in this. But the important thing is we're helping hungry folks. So Instacart, you can Instacart it, you can IHOP it, whatever you want to do. You can get it there. So PB&J, it ends next on the 31st or 30th, I think, this month. So go ahead and go shopping today and have some fun. I don't have a ton of other announcements. See, the newsletter will come out this week. But we do, hang on to that. We got something really, I don't know if you saw Facebook last night. I put up a top secret post. That we're unveiling something, we're bringing something back today in a new way, and it's not the play collection. Don't everybody run out of here. It's not the play collection. We're introducing a brand new way to share. I sound like Tim Cook doing an Apple presentation. One more thing. We're introducing a new thing today to share our joys and our concerns. We have a microphone that goes online, and it also broadcasts into here. How about that? No more shouting from the back and having to have me repeat it. Joanne has our microphone. She's going to go up and down the aisle. If you have a joy, a concern to share, please do so. And I think we have one starting off with Anna Jane right behind you, Joanne. Well, that's okay. Announcements too. Well, let's just pray it works.
All right. So on Friday we had a 1 year anniversary of the Faith Community Garden that we're involved in, and they had a really nice group. And while I was there, I heard that today at 2 p.m.
Closer?
There you go.
Okay. That I think it's at Trinity Presbyterian, is that thing in Clearwater? They're having an interfaith environmental with presentations and stuff, so I just thought if anyone was interested. I don't know much more about it than that, but they just announced it.
We'll do a deep dive and we can find out more information. Thank you, Anna
Yep,
Jane.
okay.
2 o'clock? Thanks, Chuck. Any other announcements or concerns and joys you want to lift up? Oh, this is going to be a good one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if any of you ever drive up and down US 19, but, however, yesterday Christine and I were coming back from dinner, and we were coming north on 19 just south of Tampa. And lo and behold, as I'm slowing up, because I was afraid I was going to rear-end this person, because I looked up and saw this sign and I almost busted a gut. If anybody has seen any of the advertisements about the anti-gay issue, well, this was a pro-gay issue. There was a sign that has gay. I mean, there must be 5,000 gays on this sign. And since our fabulous pastor made it so prevalent that we need to say gay, that was the ultimate. So I want to commend whoever did that. And if you get, like I said, if you get up 19 just south of Tampa on the west side of the road. By the Outback.
Thanks, Nat. Thanks, Nat and Chris. And what do we say? What do we say? Gay! Other announcement or joy or concern?
I have a concern. I'd like a prayer for our friend Linda, who hasn't been feeling good this week, and she's online watching our service today.
Linda, in our hearts and prayers, who was online with us. Linda, we're hoping that you're
She joined us last week for Easter and a couple other times, so
Thank
we'll
you.
hope you feeling better.
Thinking of you, Linda. Absolutely. Come back to us well. Any other, Amy?
Hi, I wanted to ask for prayers for my mom who's continuing to recover from shoulder replacement surgery. And also, my mom's name is Trudy, and also for my friend Betty Wellborn, she's 95, and she fell yesterday and broke her hip. So they're hoping that she'll have surgery today, so thank you.
So prayers for Betty and for Trudy, absolutely. Any other joys, concerns, anything? Oh, we got a couple way up front here, Joanne. Come on down. We're test driving. This is a pilot, so we're test driving this today. We may need to get two of these, Casey, have one on each side. And I want to say a quick thank you to Casey. Figured all this out on his own. We didn't know this was going to be possible. But thank you, Casey, for your hard work.
Yeah, I want to ask prayers for a friend of ours, John Gamble, whose wife died of stroke this past week, quite unsuddenly and unexpectedly, excuse me. And prayers for John.
Prayers for John, absolutely. Sorry to hear the loss. Other Joe, Betsy.
I'd like to introduce our friends who are joining us today and maybe staying another time. Karen and Scott Moorhead. They're our oldest friends in Tarpon Springs, and now maybe that's
Oldest.
friend for the longest time.
It's a good clarification. Welcome, Karen and Scott, welcome. Glad you're here. Any other joys, concerns, or announcements anybody would like to lift up? Rosemary, one back there? We may find out we need to extend the service by a half an hour. But how awesome is that? I mean,
It's like me working on my McDonald's.
First of all, I want to thank you in person for all the wonderful support you provided for my son in Colorado who is recovering now from prostate cancer. And thank you for all your prayers concerning it. I appreciate it. He's doing better. Slow, long recovery, but he's coming along. But here's what I wanted to bring up today. My 12-year-old granddaughter who lives in Atlanta, her name is Lindy, fell and broke her nose on Monday. And being a 12-year-old, you know what that must feel like.
sorry to hear that, Rosemary.
As far as I know, she's doing better, and they still don't know if they're going to do surgery. But anyway, she was here to visit me for a real quick visit in February, and she looks at least 15. She's grown so much. But please say prayers for her, and I know
Lindy.
she'd appreciate it.
Prayers for Lindy, absolutely. Thank you, Rosemary, for sharing that. Keep Lindy in our hearts and prayers. Any others? I think this is going to be pretty cool. What do y'all think? I really do. And maybe we'll work some kinks out. And maybe when we do this, we can say our names. That way we even build a tighter sense of community and we get to know each other. So I think this is a real plus. I want to hold a couple of prayers up. Julie Del Giorno, we prayed for her last week when her brother Mark went into home hospice, and Julie was able to get there and be with him, and he died on Thursday evening. So Julie, you may be online with us right now with maybe Mark's family, and we're thinking about you. We hold you in our hearts this day, and lean on us for support in this time. Okay, sorry for your loss. And finally, hold Eddie Page. Marge is in the house today. Marge got Eddie, who's just been struggling with. It's not vertigo; it's something going on, and he's really been bedridden and just in a lot of pain. Marge called, doing some advocacy, kind of. Just trying to get him into something earlier than the summer. There happened to be just a sliver of an opening, and she got Eddie into USF with the top neuro doctor in like all of Florida. She's a professor, a top-notch physician, and highly well-respected, and you don't generally get in to see her for 6-7 months. Marge got Eddie in tomorrow morning. So we are so happy to hear that. And we're hoping, Marge, that you get some answers for Eddie and that this can be a time to start some healing. So we're thinking about you and Eddie and give them our best, and we'll look forward to hearing some good news to come. I have a joy, Catherine Kavanaugh, probably online with us, with Preston and Lois. She has a birthday on Wednesday. So Catherine, we say a special happy birthday to you and welcome to town. I know you're here. You just join me in a moment of centering. A lot of words, a lot of beautiful words and some challenging words, and keep those folks that were lifted in our hearts. And I invite you just to take a couple of deep breaths and breathe in a sense of the good and present moment, which is such a beautiful moment. And this time of togetherness, let us give thanks. And as we're on the heels of Earth Day, celebrated the other day, I want to read these words by Thich Nhat Hanh before we hear a beautiful, a beautiful song called For the Beauty. Hear these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. When we look into our own bodily formation, we see Mother Earth inside of us. And so the whole universe is inside us too. Once we have this insight of interbeing, it is possible to have real communication, real compassion with the earth. This is the highest possible form of prayer. To express our reverence for the earth is not to deify her or believe she is any more sacred than ourselves. It is to love her, to take care of her, and take refuge in her. When we suffer, the earth embraces us, accepts us, and restores our energy, making us strong and stable again. The relief that we seek is right under our feet and all around us. Much of our suffering can be healed if we realize this. If we understand our deep connection and relationship with the earth, we will have enough love, strength, and awakening to look after ourselves and the earth so that we can both thrive. Thank you, Thich Nhat Hanh, for those beautiful words. Let us be in the spirit of worship together.
Good morning. Our scripture passage for today comes from the book of Acts, chapter 16, verses 13 through 15, as Paul and his companions are out on the road. On the Sabbath, we went outside the city gate to the river, where we expected to find a place of prayer. We sat down and began to speak to the women who had gathered there. One of those listening was a woman from the city of Thyatira, named Lydia, a dealer in purple cloth. She was a worshiper of God. The Lord opened her heart to respond to Paul's message. When she and the members of her household were baptized, she invited us to her home. "If you consider me a believer in the Lord," she says, "come and stay at my house." And she persuaded us.
I'd like to invite Reverend Dan Dahlberg to the pulpit.
I got my eye on you, Mike. I hope I remember how to do this. Clearly, I don't. Welcome. Welcome to Purple Sunday. Why, you might ask? Why purple? Well, why not? This is what is commonly referred to as Low Sunday in the Christian calendar. Low Sunday, probably so named because of its relative unimportance in contrast to last Sunday, Easter Sunday, or because attendance is universally lower on this Sunday after everyone has pulled out all the stops for the celebration of bunnies and baskets and new clothes, and last but not least, that resurrection story. So it's also known as Quasimodo Sunday. And I'm not going to tell you why in this sermon. You have to wait for another one on that one. So historically, it's Give Your Pastor a Break Sunday, following the grueling time commitments of Holy Week. But historically, the Sunday following Easter has been a Sunday to be creative. In some churches, this is Humor Sunday. And in one church I heard about, this was Clown Sunday. And everyone was to dress accordingly. That makes Purple Sunday sound mild by comparison. And I want to thank the person who actually read scripture, had purple hair, for gosh sakes. You are so obedient. Not so long ago, the Sunday following Easter was designated Woman's Sunday, when the ladies of the congregation took over the service and a woman was asked to speak. Speak, I said, not preach, because of course we all know women can't preach. But regardless of the designation, this is a Sunday to jump outside the box. So in churches I served, every once in a while on this Sunday, we would have Purple Sunday, when everyone was encouraged to dig out the shades of lavender to eggplant from their closets, which I see most of you have done, and hear the story of Lydia, the seller of purple, whose story you heard this morning. So what does purple mean to you? What does it say? Maybe it makes you think of the verse line of that famous poem by Jenny Joseph, "When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple, with a red hat that doesn't go and doesn't suit me." So purple, it's a dramatic color, but not one you want to paint your kitchen or your dining room. And somebody wants to argue with me about that one. In ancient times, purple dyes were rare and expensive. Only the rich had access to them. Purple wasn't just an indicator of wealth, it was a symbol of political power. The more important you were as a Roman senator, the more purple decoration you could have on your tunic or your toga. And the emperor, and only the emperor, could wear entirely purple clothes. And there was an edict that anyone under Augustus or Nero who wore purple could be punished by death. It was the color of mourning for widows in Thailand, and you've all heard of the Purple Heart. Well, it's purple because it signifies being set apart or special. And then there's the famous quote about purple: "I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field somewhere and you don't notice it." And that's from The Color Purple, the movie. Purple was the color of the Roman elite. But the makers and the sellers of purple, well, whatever that wealth gleaned for them, their profession came at a heavy price. The earliest archaeological evidence of the origin of purple dye points to the Minoan civilization in Crete. The ancient land of Canaan, its corresponding name was Phoenicia, and that means land of purple, was the center of the ancient purple dye industry. Tyrian purple, the purple dye of the ancients mentioned in texts dating back to about 1600 BC, was produced by the mucus, get this right for the next cocktail party you attend, the mucus of the hypobronchial gland of various species of marine mollusk. Yes. It took thousands of these tiny creatures to make a yard or two of purple cloth. And Lydia? She stands at the edge of the biblical story. There, all we learn is that she traded in purple cloth, headed a household, heard Paul preach, and chose to be baptized and to offer Paul and his companions hospitality. And if you've ever heard a sermon about Lydia, you've heard that she was a woman of means, a wealthy, independent woman, a rarity in Paul's day. You might say she was the Kim Kardashian of the first world. But the question for this morning is why? Why has this story been saved in the annals of time, and what are the things that we 21st century citizens miss in this story that the first century hearers would have known instantly? First, her name is Lydia. Although not unknown as a Greek personal name, it is unusual because it comes from a place, and only slaves were named after places. They did not have their own names. So literally, her name means a woman from Lydia. And Thyatira was known for its network of artisan guilds, including one that used slave labor to produce purple cloth. And many slaves, if they managed to gain their freedom, continue to use their trade to eke out a living. Trained within a guild system and united by their common abilities and their common past as slaves, they set up their own houses or households and traveled around the region making and trading cloth. They were forced to do their work, get this, outside the city gate, and still carrying on their bodies, from their elbows to their fingertips, the smell of that marginal status that couldn't be washed away. You see, making dye from tiny sea snails is a hard and dirty process. Extracting the dye from the mollusks meant letting the shells rot on the beach until they were soft enough to be pressed and strained. Have you ever smelled rotting sea life? And then you treated the cloth by repeatedly soaking it in vats of urine. Yes, you heard that right. Urine, both human and animal. And it was so foul-smelling that dye workers were required by edict to work outside the city limits. They smelled so bad that they weren't allowed in the city. And where did Paul go? Outside the city, to the shore of the river, where he met these women. So offensive were these people that the Talmud made special compensation for a woman who married a man who went into the dye trade after marriage. She could divorce him with no penalty. So, the beach was where they were most comfortable, away from the other people who would be disgusted by the smell that they carried with them. Not just the smell was off-putting. In order for there to be purple fabric, it meant that someone needed to capture that dye and then soak the fabric in it, wring it out, and hang it up to dry. In a time when there were no rubber gloves or hazmat suits or plastic face covers, the persons who created purple cloth for kings and queens and all the wealthy people had to put their hands and arms day after day, month after month, in sloshing purple urine dye. It meant sloshing purple dye all over your feet and your legs. And maybe if you had it on your hands and you went like that, into your hair and on your face. It meant that a woman or a man who was a seller of purple or who created these beautiful things of purple for castles and temples wore the color on their skin all day, every day. This purple was not just a dye, it was a stain, and it was permanent. And its color was strengthened when it was exposed to the sun. Although it could probably wear off in time, if you worked with it every day, as did every member of Lydia's household, they would have been, well, purple people, from head to toe. And with constant exposure to the sun, that stain would become more and more dark and vibrant. I'm going to guess this is news to you. I'm going to guess that you've heard this scripture before, and maybe even sermons. And maybe you were told that Lydia was a woman that other women should look up to. She was wealthy and independent and a seller of good things. Why are we more comfortable with that story? If you Google Lydia, seller of purple, and check out the images, you will not see purple people. You'll see depictions of lovely women who look like they may have been runners-ups to the Miss Sweden pageant, who have alabaster skin rather than the biblical heroes that in fact are knockoffs of Barney or Teletubby. Why do you suppose we only learn that Lydia is a wealthy and independent and successful woman, not a purple one? Because this Lydia lives on the edge, beyond the city gate, because she reeks, because every member of her household reeks. She is an outcast. She is a freak. She is an outlier. And after she's baptized, she offers her home to Paul and his companions. Come, stay at my house. As a matter of fact, the word in Acts that says she invited them is really a word that says more like pleads with them. The wording of her invitation, if you have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come and stay at my house, suggests that she is used to having herself and her home found unworthy. It's as though she's saying to Paul, well, hey, if this baptism you've just offered me is as good as you say it is, well then show me. Show me that truly we are no longer Jew or Greek, slave or free, male or female, that we are all one. Can you imagine what Paul's followers said when he told them, we're going to be staying at Lydia's house? Dude, what are you thinking? This morning you came to Purple Sunday with a choice. You could wear purple or not. You could participate in this silliness or not. No one stood at the door checking out whether or not you were appropriately attired in purple or not. No one ushered you out if you were entirely in yellow or green or blue. And no one checked to see if you smelled good. But my question this morning is, what would have happened if you'd been stained purple? What would happen if you came into this church and looked different? Well, as Mike often says, hey, this is Faith UCC. We know what would happen if you came all purpley to this church. But the question is not, should we be more like Lydia? The question this morning is, should we be more like Paul? Several years ago, I, among other local clergy, served on a panel of mentors for young recruits to the chaplaincy residency program at Tallahassee Memorial. I remember interviewing one young woman who seemed both way too innocent and way too naive for the rigors of hospital ministry because of its steady flow of death and body fluids and horrific injuries and bad outcomes. We had all assured the candidates that there was no shame in removing yourselves from a situation. Better to faint or throw up in the hall than on the patient. And so this young woman was asked to share her worst hospital moment. And she said, well, I was in the ER, and they brought in a homeless man, and he was filthy. And he had a bad wound on his leg that was crawling with maggots. And he had lice in his hair, and he smelled foul. He had terrible BO. I just couldn't get near him. And all of his mentors said, and what did you do? Well, she said, I thought for a moment about how lonely he must be and feeling worthless and afraid and confused. And so I did what anybody would do under those circumstances. And we said, what was that? And she said, I moved closer and took his hand. Amen.
Wow. I can get used to this. How nice to sit out there, like all of you, enjoy an awesome sermon. That was really, really interesting. I'm not sure I've ever preached on that text, but I can't now because you just so masterfully did it that that was really interesting. We should have sang some Prince today. That would have been, but listening, I'm thinking Purple Rain would have been perfect for today. That was wonderful. And thank you, Michelle. And Jenny for the flute earlier. Beautiful service. Will you join me in a little more intentional time of prayer and centering ourselves? And God, it's such a beautiful world. Let's just enjoy a moment of stillness and silence together. O God of all names and beyond all names, we pray in great gratitude for this holy day. We pray in gratitude for love raises the sun, greets us, and flowing waters, nourishes us. We pray in gratitude for each crumb of bread that we eat, or each smile and tear that we touch. How about in each child that we meet and each butterfly that we watch? Love and beauty surrounds us always. In its mantle of awe, we stand connected and transformed. Yet, Holy One, we also know our times are fraught with so many challenges and so much pain. Our earth suffers, climate chaos, and people suffer from the wounds of war and conflict, and people are ill or have lost loved ones and are shaken in mind and body and spirit. Ukraine and other regions, they lay wasted and afraid. And all manner of suffering just presses into our souls. Sometimes our small beating hearts just don't seem large enough. Yet daily, somehow, they keep expanding beyond their boundaries into compassion. But each morning, oh God, love rises beyond a known horizon and an unknown day, and each morning hope beckons into our stardust destiny, and each morning grace meets us with love, and each evening an invisible breath enfolds us in a shawl of peace. The Holy One, who is love, hope, grace, and breath, transform us in our sadness and doubts into songs for life, for another day and another week. So we do pray for our beloved planet on this Earth Week, and for all our brothers and sisters. And may healing waters bathe the rivers and oceans, and may small deliberate actions grow seeds of earth justice. May leaders free their prophetic voices and speak for the common good for future generations. O God of all names, and beyond all names, whose face is love, may we collectively be the face of transforming love in this moment, in this day, and in these times. For the world you made is beautiful, despite all of its ugliness. Hear us now, O God, as we join our voices in a rhythm of words to express that ancient prayer that our brother Jesus taught us from the hillsides long ago. I wonder if you'll join me, my friends. The words on the screen. Indwelling God, infused throughout all existence, we honor you with many names. Your realm is within the human heart. We accept life for all that it can be, on earth as throughout all creation. May we continue to draw sustenance from this earth, and may we receive forgiveness equal to our own. May we ever move from separation toward union to living grace with love in our hearts, forever and ever. For it all begins and ends again in love, right? That's what we say. I want to say thank you, as always, for your incredible generosity, whether it be your talents or your time that you give to so many things here, and of course, always for your treasure as well. You are such a generous congregation, both here and online, and I just want to say thank you for that, your incredible generosity. If you would like to, if you're here visiting, you're like, I really want to contribute to this awesome place, or if you'd like to still give to Ukraine, we're hanging on to that, I think that money for one more weekend. We've raised over, I think, $1,000 for Ukraine that will either be going through World Central Kitchen, that awesome World Central Kitchen, or through the UCC, one or the other. So if you'd like to make a contribution to Ukraine, just put it in an envelope, and I think this week we'll be sending that money forward to help out in the best way that we can in these times. But if you're visiting with us and you want to make an investment in this awesome community and the work that we do together, be in a place that says, gay. Gay. Come on, everybody, gay. Gay. Says it with reckless abandon and means it. If you want to make an investment, I said to get that out there. If you want to make an investment in this place, we have plates on the back table. So thank you, as always, for all that you give and do for this place and with this place, your community, this sacred community. And Ann, thanks again for a fantastic sermon. Really, really cool. I'm putting you down for the week after Easter next year too. So thank you. I wish you a most blessed week. I'm going to be taking off right after this service, and I got to go do a college tour up at Florida State. So I'm going to be bolting out of here. Hold me in your hearts and prayers as we have to drive up 19. Oh my gosh, up to Florida State and then back tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. So it'll be some good time with my daughter. So, which, 17-year-olds don't talk to their dads very often. So now I get her in a car for 4 straight hours up there and back. She's trapped, so she has to talk with me. No headphones. We're banning headphones for this ride. So I'll be bolting out here pretty quick after the service. But I just want to say to you, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week and live it in its fullest and just be love. That's all we can do. Be love in this time. Before we do that, let's rise up and bow to your spirit. I hope you'll stick around for a time of hospitality. We've got some good hospitality out there. Get to know one another, meet a new friend, greet an old friend, and just have some fun this day. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with us.
Peace on earth, no peace on
and peace, everyone. Love one another, serve our God. Amen. Whew. Not as tired as I usually am. I have to preach.
Nancy's got the thing.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. That's okay. I should have put up a purple one. Yeah, I think she's got the car, yeah. Just leave it maybe laid up here or something. Okay. I'll thank her for doing that.
Hey, I'm going to throw some mulch on the avocado tree, and I'm going to put a sprinkler on it for a couple hours, not like going crazy, but just